What happened to Jay Slater? What really happened to Jay Slater? Did somebody do something to Jay, or was this all just an accident?
Questions that you need help answering, really.
Well, yeah, obviously we need to know realistically who these people are who was with, and just, I mean, you don't just disappear, do you? It has been searched up there. I've been up there myself this morning. I was up first thing this morning searching his last pinned location, and there's no sighting or anything. Like she said, it is quite busy with people, so someone must have seen him. You know, I just don't know what else to do. I'm just Jay, where are you, Jay? Where are you?
In my previous video, I talked about how this could have been a revenge attack by Tom Hilton, who was attacked by Jay Slater and his friends in 2021. And as I mentioned in my previous video, Jay was still serving his sentence for this crime at the time of when he left to Tenerife. So what was the nature of this incident? The incident began shortly before 9 p.m. on the night of August the 6th, 2021. Tom, who was 17 at the time, was walking to an old paper mill in Hermitage Street, Rishton, Lancashire. Tom was going to the paper mill to meet one of his friends, a girl that he knew locally. The old paper mill was a place where youths gathered and hanged around on a regular basis. It was a derelict building covered with graffiti, and the woodland surrounding it had become a hangout for local youths. The place was full of broken glass and piles of rubble, but the youths gathered at the mill to drink alcohol and meet with their friends. Some took drugs there, and others scrawled graffiti on the walls. It was dark and damp and well away from their parental eyes. After a short walk, Tom arrived at the mill looking for the girl that he knew, but he was met by a teenager who went inside to get her for him. Minutes later, 8 boys aged between 14 and 18 emerged and started chasing Tom like a pack of gorillas, according to his account. At this point, Tom was running for his life. The group were wearing balaclavas, and one of them was armed with a machete. Another had an axe, one had a hammer, and another was wielding a golf club. Tom kept running for his life. He ran through the woods and onto the road, and this is where the gang caught up with him. Now, according to witness statements, there was around 50 young people in the area at the time. Now, the trial judge did say that the 8 defendants, who most likely were joined by others who escaped punishment, acted together. Now, when this big group of youths caught up with Tom, he was knocked to the ground with a golf club, and then he was set upon with a machete. As Tom Hilton turned his face away to avoid being struck by the blade, he heard someone screaming, "Stop it, you're going to kill him." This was the young girl that he initially went to meet. He then heard his attackers say, "I don't give a F, we are going to kill him," as he was struck in the back of the head. The fearsome weapon struck his head so deeply that his skull was visible. His friend, who was only 15 years old, then pulled one of his attackers away and threw herself over Mr. Hilton's body to protect him. Following her vital intervention, the group walked off saying, "He's dead, boys." As well as having a deep cut to the back of his head, Tom suffered severe wounds to his shoulder blades and legs. He had visible stamp marks on his legs and bruises to his ribs. Once the attackers walked off, witnesses went to Tom's aid and called an ambulance. The judge said that he wanted to make it very, very clear that all 8 of them had behaved disgracefully in relation to the violent disorder, but also intimidation of witnesses and the supply of Class A drugs and street robbery. He said, "You should all 8 be thoroughly ashamed of yourselves, but I am not at all convinced that you are." The judge said that if the group had been convicted of the more serious charge of Section 18 wounding, they would have all had to have gone to youth custody. However, He said that he took a rehabilitative approach when sentencing them, and because Jay hadn't finished all of his sentence before he left to go to Tenerife, he was still under rehabilitation. The names of the people that were sentenced was Danny Yakub, 18 years old. Then there was Connor Armstrong, 19. James Meager, 18 years old. Kane Taylor, 20. Then there was Davis Hargreaves, 18 years old. Jay Slater, who received an 18-month community order with 25 days rehabilitation activities and 150 hours unpaid work. There was also a 16-year-old who was sentenced and a 17-year-old, but they cannot be named for legal reasons. Now Jay and the other gang members were obviously waiting for Tom, and they got him unexpectedly. The whole thing was a setup. Tom was viciously attacked by this group. He was set up by this group. Now, is it possible that Jay Slater was set up by Tom Hilton, and was this a revenge attack?